Hey everybody, Bobby Chiu here. So today I want to talk to you about artistic roadblocks and how to get past them. Here we go. 5 really great tips on how to get past your artistic roadblocks. First one is to keep an idea journal. That one's a great one because a lot of times people are missing that. They might look at something, they think of a great idea, they don't jot it down. The great thing about jotting it down is that you have it forever. And just like when you write something down, you'll be able to retain it longer and stronger in your mind, in your memory. And when you jot something down, a lot of times, this is what happens to me, is I finish a painting, I'm looking for something new to paint, I'll go into my idea journal, I'll look at a bunch of stuff and go, oh, I haven't seen that sketch for a very long time. I have new ideas about how I would make that into a painting. I have a very clear understanding of where that sketch is going. Again, it's like one of those things where you put it down long enough, you come back to it, you see it with fresh new eyes, you can see all the problems and all the pluses and whether or not you should continue forward or maybe start on a different idea. Number 2, another super simple one, but super effective. Get up and leave and come back to it. Give it a little time. A lot of times when I think I'm finished a painting, what I actually do is I make sure that I give it a little time, hopefully overnight, look at it the next day before handing it in. Why? Because when I can kind of concentrate on something else and do something else, I come back to the painting with fresh new eyes. Not just that, but the whole entire word of fresh new eyes means that you're looking at it kind of like as a stranger, as your intended viewer. And that is the intention of your painting, not for your mom, not for you, but for your intended viewer. So a lot of times the best way to do that is to get into the mind of the intended viewer, and the best way to do that a lot of times is to give it a break, look at something else, concentrate on something else, so that way when you look at it again, hopefully you're looking at it with fresh eyes. The other way to do this is to flip your image so that maybe you horizontally flip it so everything on the right is now on the left, or vice versa, and that way you can see things in a more unfamiliar way, which gives you a better open mind, fresh new take on whatever it is that you've been painting. Number 3, ask somebody's opinion. Now, I did want to kind of stress that you want to get good opinions. You want to ask people where you respect their opinions. A lot of times that doesn't mean that it's a person that has to know how to paint and draw, but usually that's a good thing. When you ask somebody that knows how to paint and draw a lot better than you, generally they will have a better solution to your painting or drawing because they do it a lot and perhaps a lot more than you and have more experience than you. So hey, why not? Does it mean that Aunt May that never paints and draws will not have a better opinion than so-and-so that paints and draws all day? Not necessarily. A lot of times a complete stranger will give you a completely new, fresh look on something, or somebody that doesn't paint and draw for a living will give you a really great opinion about something. But generally, I would say most of the time, you want to go to somebody that's better than you, ask for their opinion, and hopefully they will not be too busy to give you one. Number 4, look at other stuff. Go to a museum, take a walk, look at your dog, your cat, your children, your best friend. Just go and do something else. But I love to also keep the objective floating in my mind. So when I'm looking at the dog, maybe I'm doing a sea creature movie, for example. So it has nothing to do with a dog. Or could it? I see my dog playing around. I don't have a dog right now, but if I did, maybe I see the dog playing around, and then I think, well, what if that was a sea creature playing around? What would they be playing with? A crab or something, or a big clam instead of a ball? You start to relate everything that you're looking at back to the main objective, the main challenge in mind, which is your painting. A lot of times when you're looking at something completely different, like two people arguing, and then you're thinking, that would be great for this fish scene when these two fish don't get along. A lot of times when you take something that real and you bring it into your imagination, it has that much more believability in it because it's based off of something that you saw in reality. Now, there have been times, not that many, where I got a fresh look. I took a break. I asked somebody else. I went to look at other things, went to a museum. I came back, I still couldn't draw. That's actually happened to me and lasted for a very long time one time. And the way that I got over it was that I started learning something else. I started taking a class. At the time, I could only paint and draw traditionally and digitally. I didn't know any 3D stuff, so I started taking a ZBrush class. Now, this was fantastic for my artistic roadblocks because it literally made new roads, right? Roads that I couldn't go down before because I didn't know 3D. When you learn something new, it's fantastic in that way that it opens up completely new opportunities for you, completely new doors for you. But as well, if you take a class and it has assignments, then you could just do the assignments. You don't have to think too hard about what to paint, what to draw. A lot of times that was my biggest thing. Do I really want to spend the time on this idea? Is this idea good enough for me to spend, 1 or 2 days on, or maybe even more? That was my challenge, to find a really great idea. But then I started taking a class. And when you start taking a class, the assignments, even if there is some creativity to the assignment, it usually has parameters. So you aren't just thinking blue sky. I can paint anything from a swarm of angry robot bees to an epic tale of a pig soldier that lost his platoon and needs to fight the chicken monsters, on the other side, or whatever it might be. You can literally paint everything is what I'm saying. And a lot of times when you can paint and do absolutely anything in any way, we kind of get frozen because the options are just way too vast. And so when you have an assignment, then that assignment already has parameters and it kind of limits your options, and therefore you come towards faster solutions. But not only that, the best way to kind of come up with something totally creative, totally new and refreshing that I found was when you learn one thing really well and you learn another thing really well and you learn how to combine the two to make something that hopefully nobody's ever seen before. Now, you could do this in many different ways. You can read a book, get a book that has assignments in it, and you start doing the assignments. You could get a DVD if you still have a DVD player. You can look online on YouTube, or you can go to one of the biggest sources, schoolism.com. Now, that is something that I own. I started as well. I want to mention that, but I built it for that reason, specifically for professionals like me, for artists like you, hobbyists to students to professionals. So I hope you liked the video. I hope it helped. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and then press the notification button, because that way you'll be instantly notified when I put out a new video.